Real estate humans, did you know that Instagram is a powerful search engine, which means if you want to increase your searchability, your discoverability, how easily people can find you when they're searching not just for your name, but more importantly, for your general topic, your industry. We want your content and profile to get found more often and seen by more people with less effort. When I think about an Instagram profile, I essentially treat it like a website, but instead of living on the internet, it lives on Instagram. And just like when you go to Google, there is a search box where you can enter keywords to help you find the website or content that you're searching for. The same rules apply within Instagram. Yes, Instagram is a search engine just like Google, and they are powered by keywords, as is Google. Here's what you're gonna do. When you go into the search bar, you're gonna type in those words. Maybe it's real estate, realtor, anything that they might be looking for. And Instagram is going to look at all of the profiles and all of the content, and it's gonna look at some hashtags too, and it's going to determine what is the most relevant content that you should see. The important word is relevant, not recent. Yes, with the recommendation algorithm, they are serving up content that you want to see based on your previous behaviors and of course your search history. In order to make sure that you're standing out, you're searchable and discoverable by the most amount of people, you have to make sure that your profile is totally optimized. We're starting out with the profile picture. Yes, this needs to be a picture of your face. We're trying to build a human connection immediately, and it should be a picture where it is large enough to actually see you, not super far away, because this is gonna get really tiny when you're commenting and direct messaging people. Keep in mind that the very first time someone goes to your profile, it's probably going to be the last. If they decide to follow you, that content is now going to fall into the feed. They're not going to go back and look at your profile. If it looks good on your profile because it's larger, keep in mind people are not going to be able to see it at that size going forward. The two most important areas of your Instagram profile are the username and the name fields. The username is at the very top. That's your @ handle. Then you've got your profile picture, and underneath that is another field called the name field. And those two fields are the only searchable fields of the entire profile. So basically, those two fields are going to determine how often you show up in searches. And it's really important that you have the right keywords in those two fields. There's three things I recommend you have in your username and or name field. You don't have to have the same words in both, but either one, mix and match, it works perfectly fine. First and last name, your personal brand. Then I recommend having some kind of industry-related term like realtor or real estate. If you're gonna use the term realtor, make sure you are including all capitals and the registered trademark. Last but not least, I would recommend a location, because you do want to be found and associated with a location, because real estate in general is location specific. If you are in more than one area, you can also include two areas. Put that city name, you can put the state name. I recommend city. Have that information in those areas. Next, we're gonna move down into the bio field. Now, this field isn't technically searchable, meaning Instagram isn't going to look through the bio and exact word match word for word what somebody types into that search bar in Instagram. But Instagram does read everything that's actually in the bio. It's also listening to the words that you're saying when you speak and reading your text captions to determine what your content is all about and how to sort and serve it to the right party. I recommend in this bio section that you are clear, concise, and have a command. Tell people who you are, what you do, and how you can specifically help them. What is your superpower in real estate? Do you have a specialty or a niche? Put that in there. Most of the time, every audit that I give, I almost never ever see what I call a call to action or that command piece, where you're going to tell people, hey, here's what I want you to do next. Is it sign up for your newsletter? Is it go to your website? Is it start their home search, download a guide that you have created? There is one link that you have right below your bio, and it's really critical to tell people what they should do and why they should do it. Basically, what's in it for them. Now we're moving on to Instagram story highlights. If you thought that your Instagram stories disappeared in 24 hours, they technically do, but they still live in the Instagram cloud called the archive, which means if you have made content in the past, you can actually post it to your Instagram highlights, even if they have disappeared off of your story. The good news here is that you can create an environment where it feels like they can go through web pages on a website. That's how I think of Instagram story highlights. These are web pages that live on your website. So if somebody stayed on your Instagram profile and never went to your website, what would they be missing? I recommend a minimum of 5 Instagram highlights. I know that sounds like a lot, but the reason that I want you to have 5 or more is on the mobile device. When you have 5 or more, it's going to fill the width of the mobile device screen from the left-hand side to the right-hand side, and it's going to look visually complete. I would encourage you to think in terms of buyer content, seller content, maybe community content, and also to throw in some personality and perspective. If you have pets, if you have hobbies, you can include that and create a highlight as well. Last but not least, probably one of the most important things is your content grid. Now, first of all, you do not have to make it look aesthetic. If it brings you joy to create content that is themed and beautiful, have at it. I love that for you. If it is stressing you out, the great news is that when somebody comes to your content grid for the first time, that's probably the only time that they're going to see your content all in one place. They're going to follow you and then wait for your content to come into the feed. So the great news is they're probably not going to see your content all in one grid. So you don't have to worry about that. Remember, content is about your context and what you're communicating in the message. If the content is good, you don't have to worry about having a beautiful thumbnail. When somebody comes to your profile for the first time, they're going to scan very quickly. They may or may not watch any of your reels, they may not consume your content, but they are going to scan. So my pro tip for your grid is that you have very clear, readable, concise titles that tell a first-time visitor exactly what your content is all about. If they came from a reel and came to your profile for the first time and checked it out, maybe they decided to follow you, they're going to scan through your content and maybe they'll decide to watch more than one video. Maybe they'll decide to watch a video that they hadn't even intended on seeing and wouldn't know to watch if you didn't have that title. So go to your profile and make sure that your content has titles, just like a YouTube thumbnail, that tells somebody very easily what is your content all about. And I would also encourage you, are you in your content? Are we able to see your brand, your face, hear your voice, your personality, and perspective? If you want more information about this or a walkthrough step-by-step, you can check out my free Instagram course right in the description below.